meditating and pondering on the ways of the world today. Thinking of my people Africa and the state of the continent today. How mothers fed their children today. As granny goes down on her knees every day and prays. How many souls are dying from causes that could be prevented? If we did have leaders who cared for us today. Oh, 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 Zion and Yahweh. Zion away. Zion away. Africa rise, young. Every 4 years, the politicians say he's your servant today. After you vote for them, they metamorphose into your masters. I say, have your say, we'll have our way. Not no strange, it's cow demon crosses. Meanwhile, souls are dying from causes that could be prevented. If we did have leaders who cared for us today. Zion and Yahweh. Away from your slumber. Zion away. Away from your sleep. Zion away. Away from your slumber. Africa rise. We can be great again. World turbulence among the politics. Never hypocrite, lava. Never ever quit, just a little bit longer. Victory is near, they're gonna disappear, go under. Leaders them no care, never tend to share. Babylon quit, the shedding of blood. Your heart that goes up if you show no love. Stay away, consciousness. What the God it is and if for no righteousness. Just make sure the children live. I pray for the future generation not to give up this fight. I pray for the children of tomorrow not to sell out their birthright. Cause when I look afar, I see the strangers eating up your food. Another form of slavery is coming here again. And that's why people are dying. Causes that could be prevented. Oh yes, we do need some better leadership today. Oh, oh, oh. Zion and Yahweh. Zion Zion. As the day breaks, I see my people rising up again, shaking off all the shackles. I see my people shaking off those chains. The lion with the mane, blood of the slain will never be in vain. Never. No. We don't want to see no more people dying.
Welcome to Tucson Hotel, your ultimate home away from home. Located in the serene town of Ejisu Ichakrum, just off the Jabin Road, we offer you a haven of comfort and luxury. Step into our fully air-conditioned 40 bedrooms where modern elegance meets convenience. Whether you choose our normal, standard, deluxe, deluxe standard or executive rooms, each one is equipped with Wi-Fi and DSTV, ensuring that you stay connected and entertained throughout your stay. Indulge your taste buds at our exquisite bar and restaurant, where our skilled chefs prepare a wide range of culinary delight to satisfy every palate. From local delicacies to international favorites, we have something for everyone. Planning a business meeting or a special event? Look no further than our state-of-the-art conference hall. With a capacity to accommodate 80 to 100 people. It is the perfect venue for your corporate gatherings or social celebrations. But that's not all. We proudly boast the largest recreational center in the Ejisu municipality. With a capacity to accommodate up to 2,000 people, it is the ideal location for concerts, weddings, and other grand events. It comes with 4 fully air-conditioned bedrooms and a kitchen as one package. Our luxury cars are also available for rent. Drive like a boss. To experience true hospitality and unmatched comfort, contact us today. Our friendly staff is ready to assist you. You can reach us at 0244 654 458, 0246 505 327 or 0241 418645. You can also email us at info@tucsonhotel@gmail.com. Tucson Hotel, your home away from home.
Okay, 1212 Radio Culture. Good morning, everyone. From my end of town, it is morning, but wherever you find yourself across God's beloved earth, good day to you. My name is Kwasi Anin Boaten, and I am sitting in here from Studio 1, Texas, USA, on today's live stream. Today, we will have a quite packed show. Are you ready?
Radio Culture.
I want to reach out and say good morning to my team in Ghana, Studio 2. Are you ready? I'll be doing this with my co-host, Bismarck Apia Synergy, in Studio 2, Mamponting Kumasi. And together we're going to make it happen right here from Radio Culture. On today's show, we'll have a couple interviews, and we'll also bring you our reports from our correspondents from across Ghana. Expect a report from our mid-Ghana correspondent, Justice Mafo. By the way, we are live on iCulture TV. We're also live on modernghana.com, search Radio Culture. And of course, on our homepage, www.ghnewsnow.com. On today's show, we are privileged to have some very well-intentioned guests to dissect some issues today. We'll be looking at the importance, the significance of our traditional rites, our traditional rituals, etc., at national events. I could be mistaken, but I don't think I saw any libation being poured during President Mahama's inaugural ceremony. I also saw the president go visit the national chief imam and together with the vice president, Mama Jane, beautifully clad and hair covered Muslim style. So of course, we do have respect for other people's cultures. And when I say other people's cultures, I don't mean to disrespect nobody's culture or anybody's religion for that matter. All I'm saying is that we have respect for every culture, every shade, every religion. But what about ours? How much respect are we putting on our own cultural practices at national events after the Christian and the Muslim prayers have been said? Shouldn't traditional prayers also be said? I'm just asking. But I'll not be answering that question. I have some guests who will be helping me to answer that question in a couple minutes. Stay tuned. All right, before any of that starts, though, are you ready for the editorial? We'll bring you the editorial in a quick minute before we start the show in full. All right, we bring you today's editorial. And here's the editorial. Today's editorial is titled, President Mahama, how do you feel about your second coup d'etat? President Mahama, how do you feel about your second coup d'etat? President Mahama, I remember when you released that book, that famous book, My First Coup d'etat. I remember covering a review of that book at Bard College in New York State and falling in love with not just the content, but also the context. Not the context, but also the content of that book. Against the backdrop of running on a ticket of the revolutionary NDC, the word coup d'etat that you used in your title stuck out very much to people, a lot of people, even though you have no military background. I met you again in Chicago, sir, where I invaded your space with a question, are you ready for your second coup d'etat? A question you masterfully redirected back to the book. Well, sir, I wasn't referencing the book at the time, sir. I was referencing an actual coup d'etat, one that would actually remove a government and hopefully replace it with a better one, albeit bloodless, of course. We all sat and painfully watched our cherished institutions, as they were debased and turned into agencies of sycophancy, pandering only to the jaundiced whims and caprices of a tyrant. We watched as our executive was turned into a joke. No, try farce. Allegations of corruption was not the only canker. The very seat of government looked like the headquarters of a criminal cartel. We sat through 8 years of being disrespected as a people. Our legislature became the extension of the joke. Despite a split or hung parliament, which should have gone to the benefit of the people, the weirdest of legislations were churned out from that august house. Parliament was used as an oppressive wing of the government, imposing draconian policies on the people and rubbing it in their faces. Of course, we all remember e-levy and its cake, don't we? We have endured 8 years of the judiciary churning out the most ridiculous of interpretations. The once highly revered institution was subjected to shameful manipulation, all in an attempt to hold on to power. Our journalists, least said about them, the better. Because guess what? Our journalists, who are supposed to be reporting the news, have transitioned from doing so to being in the news. Of course, if you're sitting on some board of some corporation, you are most likely to make news rather than report news. Religious leaders began to unravel their true identities, people that we have respected for ages and to whom we would on a regular day run to for counsel, proved that they were not worth the cassocks that covered their nakedness. Our respected chieftaincy system was also not left out. On one hand, our chiefs were disrespected and humiliated. On the other hand, some chiefs joined the gravy train, using their influence to prop up a corrupt government. And as a people, we have been made to lose our self-pride, the pride that held up our head as the Black Star of Africa. But together, Ghanaians identified you, John Dramani Mahama, as the leader they wanted to head a coup against this oppressive government. In a period where actual coups were going on all around us in the sub-region, many were those who overtly or covertly wished that someone would rise and topple the obnoxious Akufo-Addo government. However, through information handling, and I believe a lot of background work, Ghanaians opted to bide their time and wait for a day when, without the complications of a coup d'etat, we could say good riddance to the bad rubbish that is the Akufo-Addo government. So after all this time, in spite of a clearly partisan electoral commission, Ghanaians have made it possible for your second coup d'etat to happen. Akufo-Addo is out of government. Out with all the undesirable things that we never want to associate with our presidency. And you, sir, are back in office. My question to you is, how do you feel about your second coup d'etat? And are you ready for the big reset? Are you ready to reset the institutions? Are you ready to reset those things that make our society run smoothly? I could make a good list of them, but I'd rather not, because everybody knows that the entire system needs a reset. But along with that, are you ready to use the advantage Ghanaians have given you in the legislature to arrange the indices to ensure a more equitable system? Are you ready to lead the charge to restore the judiciary to its former glory, or even better, to influence our traditional and religious leaders to be Ghana-centric in everything they do, to restore a security department that is riddled with unidentifiable elements? It's a tall list of things we would want you to reset, Mr. President, but one thing that must be central to the big reset also in your restoration effort is the importance of resetting the Ghanaians' mindset. Without a reset of the mindset, we will be working in vain. We'll be right back with the show. All right, and with that, let me cut across to Ghana and welcome my co-host, Bismarck Appear Synergy. Bismarck, are you ready for me? Are you there today? Are you right now? Are you ready? Hello, Bismarck.
Hello, Ross.
Yes. Nice one. Maybe I have to say.
Oh, Nyanko Pardon, baby, I didn't come up.
Okay, let me give you some quick 2 minutes, B, to do your thing whilst we get our guests ready to get the show rolling.
All right, no problem.
Koso, meet you.
Okay, as you all know, today is editorial section. As we engage Ghanaians, said we can start, with John Dramani Mahama, and I think we will dive deeper into more issues today concerning no one can come back, any certain things are symbolic to swearing in, several things are happening here. And then again, we'll be going into entertainment, a little bit of entertainment. The pressing ones, the most ones a lot of people are talking about on the street right now. So we are just entreating all Ghanaians, followers, everyone to join us on Facebook, GH News Now, and on YouTube is GH News Now. And Ross, as it stands now, we have a lot of stories and a lot of things to share to viewers and educate them as well for them to know what is happening today.
Yo, Mate, thank you very much. I am saying, I guess we have a bit of an issue in the green room to sort that out, and then we'll be back definitely with the interview. The first interview, we are talking about the significance of you kind of saying our traditional rites and rituals at national events. Very important. Say national events are, in my opinion. But this is why we have invited the experts to come and talk about it, because maybe it's not so important. But growing up, Synergy, what I used to see, and it says, say, national events are, you bought empire, you Christian prayers, near bought Muslim prayers. Now, for your traditional priests in Swaba, make I part those times when we be a wooloma for no more crash, no bottles, no more a bonfire or something, and not be more afraid or maybe no big gunsan or something. That's our heritage, that's our culture.
Yeah.
Right. But slowly, I've seen said that thing is fizzling out. Mami Bisao, during President Mahama inaugural ceremony in Ibi, right?
Yeah. I watched the full video, right from the beginning to everything.
And I will Bibiasa, so Mugunsana Bibiasa.
Well, I didn't see anything like that. Now, me from this perspective, as you rightly said, we have religions in Ghana, of which everyone belongs to one way or the other, but people also decide to belong to the two or even more, as Baumia is doing. Whether we like it or not, we cannot specifically say Baumia is a Muslim. If we have to debate on that, I have several things to talk about that, because for a Muslim, I saw them to go for prayers today. You could understand where I'm coming from. And I cannot say.
Well, I don't want us to digress into that, but the truth of the matter is, if you're going to be, this is one of the things that I never held against Baumia, for instance, because if you're going to be a president of all people, you have to be able to interact with all people. You have to be able to visit people, right? And why don't you have a problem with him going into, if you want to be my president, but you cannot respect me enough to come into my space, you disrespect me, but you want my vote? Is that what we are saying here? But I don't want
that is not what I agree I say. But let me establish this point for you to understand very well from the angle I'm coming from. It is in this direction. Religion is shared belief to everyone as to where you decide to belong to. That is the norms, the cultural practices or practices over there that you decide to say, and then I will pay. In view of that same religion will tell you to accept individual differences, but not to say, this person is not from our religion, you know, may respect it. No, that is not what I'm trying to say.
All right. Well, let's keep it on topic because it's a very tight show. So let's not use the time debating when our guests should be doing the debating, you know. But yeah, we'll set time to talk about that. I just feel like such, you know,
to Mahama, what I see in here, say he is the person yes swearing in. And you know, for what he believes in is what will bring to the table.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
That is from my angle. That is from my angle. That is how I see it.
Edit the angle because it's not his personal ceremony. You see, the same. Let's use the same. Let's use the same yardstick. The same thing that made us say, how dare Akufo-Addo tell us that he has made a personal vow? So he's going to use our resources to achieve that. That's the same yardstick we're using. It's a national ceremony. And we're not talking about Mahama's ceremony. We're talking about national events.
But someone's beliefs come in here. Someone's belief, what that person believes in. If not, we wouldn't give them
inconsequential. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand.
Okay.
Because you are there as the president of the entire nation.
And
you have a heritage.
Yes. No doubt about that.
Anyhow, like I'm saying. Anyways.
Yes.
Let's leave the discussion for the guests to do. Okay. We are hosting the show. We're not here to do the actual. But yes, I would definitely. That's something I would like to engage on and everything. But let's make sure our guests are up. Okay, I think they're having technical difficulties. Let's go for a quick musical break whilst we check in with them to make sure that they're ready for the show to continue. All right. We'll be right back.
All right.
Hot a fire burn them. Red lava done them. Diarrhea run them. The wrath of God upon them.
Fly on your teeth or yourselves on fire. You're killing people every day. Anytime you open your mouth, up here lie, you're leading my people astray.
Government by family and friend, corruption never end. And you tell us said you are God sent, but when we turn around the bend, you thieving with a pen. Waffy with family, and I struggle for fed. And when you come after way, like the cock on the end. What a pity when we sell our dignity as men. Politicians them attack we from the rear end. Lead me to a dead end. And the fake preacher telling I and I feel repent. With the money in my pocket is the mountain I get. And when the gap are ever widen, fences can mend. So this question I send.
Where the money there? 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 Where the money there?
And me say where the money there?
I don't know.
Whoa, at the fire bonding. Until they change their mind, the wrath of God upon them.
Through your lies and deception, wrong education, you poison yourself one way. But when the church and the state collaborate to keep us in slavery.
And by the ballot and the bullet, they put their gun to we head. Them say you have the right to talk, but talk too loud and you dead. It's like them have a different system for the leader and the leader. Hurt to run red. So get the youth boss rise and show them how how things be run. If them can't do it, come and make we show them how we done. And we now no more room for them like them days are gone. Up your fire burner. What I mean say?
Where the money there? 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 Where the money there?
And me say where the money there?
I don't know.
Where the money oh?
I don't know.
So where the money dey? Hiding in the Cayman Islands. So where the money dey? Invested in foreign lands. So where the money dey? Me personally, I don't know. So where the money dey? Where the money dey oh? And I mean say hot a fire burn there. Red lava down them. Diarrhea on them. And the wrath of God upon them. Until them change their mind. Wrath of God upon them. But for people black, wrath of God upon them. Best kept culinary secret. Blood of the slain will never be in vain.
Never.
No. I don't want to see no more people dying. Zayana Yahweh. Whoa. Zayana Yahweh. Whoa. Zayana Yahweh. Whoa, Zayana Yahweh. Yo, listen, man. My name is Ja, beloved. You can call me Kwasi back when the occasion calls for it. You are watching iCulture TV. Keep it locked. iCulture TV. Africa from African perspective.
Much apologies for the mix-up there. Our guests are having quite a hard time getting in the green room for the first interview. So what's actually going to happen is we're going to cut straight across and do our second interview instead, after which hopefully we can go back to the first topic, which is the significance of our cultural, practices at national events and all that. But before that, let's go and do our first interview, first interview for that matter, yes, with our guest of the day, Dr. John Osae Kwapong. Dr. John Osae Kwapong is joining us to discuss, to decode, as I would say, John Dramani Mahama's inaugural speech. Help me welcome Dr. John Osae Kwapong. Doc, good morning.
Good morning, Senior. How are you?
I am very good. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
All right. Full disclosure, as I do always, Dr. John Osae Kwapong is a schoolmate of mine. So
you have to add that I was your junior. When you say schoolmate,
yes,
it doesn't do justice to it.
Okay, all right. With your permission, I'll do that. He was my junior. and so you can expect to hear a few terminologies that you may not be familiar with, like base, for instance. Because, Doc, after this one, I owe you one base. I have
sure,
to go
no
base.
problem.
Let me see. Thank you very much, Doc. So let's get down to brass tacks. I want us to look at the President John Dramani Mahama's inaugural speech in a certain context. But before we do that, what was your general takeaway from the speech?
Thank you again for having me. The inauguration was very well organized, very well done, very well attended. It was really nice to also see heads of state and other dignitaries, not just from the African continent, who came to show solidarity with Ghana and with our newly elected president, but also members of the international community who also showed up to give their endorsement of the progress that Ghana's democracy is making. In terms of the speech, I'm sure we'll get into the specifics of it, but overall, again, it was a very well-crafted, very well-delivered speech. The speech, for me, touched on the key themes that the president is trying to frame his second presidency around. The one thing that I would mention quickly before we get into the specifics was, it was quite refreshing and nice to see the acknowledgement that he gave to outgoing President Akufo-Addo, right? That, talking about his time with him all the way back in Parliament. I mean, it was a gracious acknowledgement of the outgoing president. And for me, that speaks volumes about the character of John Mahama and the kind of man that he is. But that was good to observe. He also acknowledged Dr. Bawumia and his early concession of the race. That was also gracious as well. That's right.
Okay. And then he did mention that in the early part of his presidency, he's going to focus on four big areas, if you will. I want us to watch this video really quick, and then we will be back to speak more about it. I want you to please react to what he says in the video.
The circumstances we find ourselves in are indeed dire. But even so, I'll be decisive and swift in my actions. We'll focus our initial efforts on four critical areas. The first is economic restoration and stabilization of the macroeconomic environment. The second is the improvement of the business and investment environment to ensure that Ghana is once again open for business. The third is governance and constitutional reforms. And the final, but not the least, is accountability and the fight against corruption.
Doc, how do you decode this? And how important is it for him to focus on these four areas in the early part of his presidency, taking into consideration the fact that he has just 4 years to accomplish whatever he has to accomplish?
Extremely important priority areas for him to focus on. I mean, if you followed all of his campaign speeches, conversations, if you look at the party's manifestos, these are the key issues around which he made a case for why he was running and why Ghanaians must vote for him, and the NDC. I mean, the two areas that I would mention: one, the economy. I mean, it's no secret that we've gone through some major economic challenges that led us to go into the IMF and still under an IMF program. Yes, the last statistics from the Ghana Statistical Services showed some signs of, improvement, for example, around economic growth. Inflation is no longer at that high 50-something%, still high though. And so there are issues around the economy that needs to be addressed, issues around taxes, things like that. So it's very important that he mentioned, restoring the economy, putting it on a path of growth and making it attractive to foreign investment. I mean, issues around the DDEP, the domestic debt exchange, and all of the things that we had to do to restructure our debt. You can believe that it definitely did give people some pause about the extent to which they want to make investments in the Ghanaian economy. So they would have to come up with policies and incentives that would still make the economy attractive, and then put it on a path of continued and sustained growth. The governance areas, I'm also glad that he mentioned that, because if you look at the last couple of years, and it's not just Afrobarometer alone, but some of the major governance indices, the Mo Ibrahim, Index of African Governance, World Press Freedom Index, the Democracy Index from the Economic Intelligence Unit. If you put all of those indices together, the VDEM, for example, if you put all of them together, you do see some major deterioration in certain components of our governance and democracy architecture. And so for me, it's one of the areas, aside from the economy, the governance areas is one area that must also get his attention. And I hope that quite a number of efforts would be made in those areas so that we can halt some of the deterioration that we've seen, and then put our governance structures back in a solid state.
And then he also mentioned, of course, accountability towards the end. This also has been one of the key things that he campaigned on. And after he won, it's been one of the things that Ghanaians seem to be really reminding him about.
Precisely, right? And so if you recall, after his victory, during the transition, when he set up the oral committee, for example, you see that the public response was very positive, because you're right, Ghanaians are also expecting some amount and some level of post-regime accountability. Whatever they believe happened or didn't happen, went wrong in the Akufo-Addo administration, there's some expectation that there will be some accountability there. But the other thing, though, that in terms of the accountability, one of the things we are yet to do more of is what we call, and I learned this from Professor Jimabwede at CDD, who says in-regime accountability. That is, how do you hold your own people accountable exactly for the things that they do? One of the things that he promised during the campaign is the Code of Conduct bill for public officers. If he prioritizes that, it would be one good tool that he can use for that in-regime accountability, to make sure that his own appointees, his own staffers do not get caught up in some of the issues that unfortunately bedeviled the Akufo-Addo administration.
Thank you, Doc. And I want us to redirect and look a little bit outside of Ghana for a quick minute. He did mention BRICS. I personally was a little surprised, mildly surprised, but he did mention BRICS. Let's watch this clip real quick, and let's please have you react to it for us. Let's watch this. Sure.
The world in which Ghana exists today, as I begin this presidency, is not the same world in which we have lived under other presidencies. There are tensions and conflicts that have not previously existed between nations. These tensions and conflicts place pressure on alliances to decide where we will support. There's a seismic shift happening within the system of global economic dominance. Whereas the G7 nations, United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, and Japan once provided the highest percentage of the world's GDP, over the last decade, that number has been steadily dropping. However, the combined total of the GDP of the BRIC nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, UAE, their GDP has been consistently increasing. In 2023, for instance, the G7's combined total of world GDP was 30%. But by 2024, by 2029, that number is predicted to drop to 27%. In 2023, the BRICS percentage of world GDP was 37.3%. And so what does this mean to us in Ghana? What could it mean to our economy? Where do we fit in this geopolitical maelstrom?
Doc, where do we fit in this geopolitical maelstrom?
We have to find a way to fit. When these global alliances change, right? When the dynamics of the global economy change, definitely it does have implications for emerging economies like that of Ghana.
That's right.
Which means that it doesn't mean that we would abandon some of our traditional allies, friends, the traditional places that we've sourced for investment, borrowing opportunities, you name it all. But it just means that we also have to be realistic, recognize some of these new dynamics, and position ourselves in such a way that we don't lose the benefits we can gain from engaging the G7 countries with respect to our economy, but also ensuring that we position ourselves in such a way that this shift that is happening globally, that if it comes with positive gains and benefits, that we don't stand to lose, from it, that we can also gain something valuable from the BRICS countries now, who, as the statistics he cited, is showing some real strength in terms of their position within the global economy. So it's good. It's good to recognize the changing dynamics in the global economy, because Ghana is not an island on its own, right? Whatever happens globally definitely does have an impact on us, and we just have to position ourselves very well to make sure that it affects us positively.
Thank you very much, Doc. And we also had President Tinubu of Nigeria, saying that we can count on Nigeria for Nigeria support. Of course, that's something we expect to hear, right? Nigeria is one of our closest allies, and in the region and all that. But at this time, when obviously we're staring at an energy crisis in the face, do you agree with me when I say that we really need Big Brother or little cousin Nigeria, whichever way you look at them? We really need Nigeria at this time. Do you think we should pick up on President Tinubu's offer?
Definitely, right? I mean, we should, he's extended a helping hand, and in whatever ways, as you mentioned, that, for example, this energy crisis that is being talked about, that if there are aspects of or some parts of the solution needed to address these energy crises, that the helping hand that he's extending to Ghana, then definitely we should embrace it, right? As you said, our closest ally, our big brother, if you want to call it that, whatever help we can get, definitely. For me, again, we live in such an interconnected world these days that it takes more than just the efforts of a country by itself to address some of its challenges. Sub-region as well as regional cooperation, global cooperation, and alliances are always needed to be able to help a country, deal with its challenges.
Speaking of global alliances, Haiti, a country that is not within Africa, but that is probably more African than some African countries. Haiti has offered to join the African Union. I don't know how far they've gone with that, but Haiti made a representation at the event, a proud one as that. Haiti really is making some inroads to be recognized by the African Union. Don't you think so?
Yes, they are, and it's very interesting to see, as you said, their geographical position on the globe, but again, given the nature of their population, it's just interesting just to see their continued desire to become part of the African Union, and we wait to see how the African Union ultimately will decide, on this Haiti issue. But again, for me, even their presence and the goodwill that demonstrated is always a good sign. That was very good and nice to see the sort of goodwill they brought to come and at least show their support and solidarity with Ghana.
Thank you, Doc. Before we go, Ibrahim Traore, we cannot not mention him.
Right.
And all the news and everything around him. But what I want to focus on is this. Ibrahim Traore was in the same space as a president, our president, of course, former, as the case may be, who a short while ago, together with the guest speaker at the event, President Tinubu, were threatening to invade his country. And here he is now, duffing his hat for our vice president, shaking hands with our new president, and all of that. Body language, symbolism, backstory. How did you read all of that?
I know that the ultimate desire of ECOWAS is to protect the democracies in the region. And so I know that they really would like to see the likes of Burkina Faso return to civilian democratic rule, and also, become more engaged once again with ECOWAS. I mean, I know that Burkina Faso, Mali, and I think it was Guinea, right, were very unhappy with how ECOWAS responded to the military interventions, right? And so did they go ahead to finally withdraw from ECOWAS? Because I know they had signaled that they were going to leave.
I think they did, because they've formed the Sahel Alliance.
Precisely, right? So I'm sure that ECOWAS would love to continue the engagement and hopefully be able to bring them back, but also to restore democracy and civilian rule to Burkina Faso. So hopefully his acceptance of the, John Mahama inviting him, he accepting the invitation to be part of a democratic exercise. Hopefully there will be some lessons learned, and they would open the doors for at least Ghana to show leadership and engage the Burkinabés together with ECOWAS, that hopefully civilian rule would be returned to Burkina Faso at some point.
And that's exactly where I'm heading with that, because with the investiture of John Mahama now, I wonder what you see for regional peace, for instance, and also Ghana's role in regional leadership, right? Or not just the ECOWAS, but all the other auxiliary, bodies. That
we would have to, most of the time you hear the phrase that, Ghana is the beacon of democracy in West Africa, in Africa. But, Ghana's democracy, as I mentioned in the beginning, has also seen some challenges as captured by these good governance indices and Afrobarometer as well. And so whilst we can play, a good leadership role, especially in the way we've managed to have peaceful transitions. We've not tampered with term limits like some countries have tried to do or some countries have succeeded in doing, right? I think there are some very important lessons that we can share, and they are on some important sub-regional and regional issues that we can provide leadership on. And so I really do look forward to Ghana providing leadership on those issues, as it has always done. Even though we have a new president, I'm hoping that that leadership on, ECOWAS, AU matters, we will continue to show leadership and provide support.
Thank you very much, Dr. John Osae Kwapong.
My pleasure. Always.
And we hope to reach you again for more. We cannot stop asking for more. Every time we have stuff to decode, we know where we come to. Thank you so much for your time today. All right, that was Dr. John Osae Kwapong helping us to decode President Mahama's speech. Why do I keep calling President Mahama Doctor any which way?
Hot a fire burn them. Red lava done them. Diarrhea run them. The wrath of God upon them.
I am your thief, yourselves on fire. You're killing people every day. Anytime you open your mouth, up here lie, you're leading my people astray.
Government by family and friend, corruption never end. And you tell us, said you are God sent, but when we turn around the bend, you thieving with a pen, coffee with family, and I struggle for fed. And when you come after we, like the cock on the end, what a pity when we sell our dignity as spent. Politicians them attack we from the rear end, lead we to a dead end. And the fake preacher telling I and I feel repent. With the money in my pocket is a mountain again. And when the gap ever widen, fences.
All right. Thank you very much for sticking and staying. And we do apologize for the technical hiccup. We're still having challenges bringing our guests on through the green room. We're still having challenges with that. But we have found a way. We are going to be reaching our guests via audio if we are not able to reestablish the video links. But for now, let's go straight and go speak to my guest, Kwasi Anin Boaten. Kwasi Anin Boaten has so many hats. I don't know which one to introduce him with. But full disclosure, great friend of mine former chief vandal. And at least I'll drop that hat. That one there. That one there, I will drop that one for you. And I'll leave him to drop whichever other hat he wants to let you know that he's wearing. Kwasi, me pacho what is saying?
Hello.
Yeah, Kwasi, me pacho what is saying?
Yo,
with the fache, technical difficulties with getting you on video and everything. But this is not going to be the only time. Hopefully, the next time we can have you on video. But let's go ahead. Me pachopi, introduce yourself, but name which of the hats I will have to place on your head today. So please go ahead, do the honors and let's go on.
It's all right. I'm
I saw how you
basically I'm a student of linguistics, and so yes, regarding culture and language issues, I'm at home.
Great.
And so it's all right.
Okay.
And
so,
of course, I am a former chief now, so it's all right.
No question about that.
Thanks for having me, my brother.
By all means. You've been on this platform before, and people also would have identified you as a relative of the great Mame Ikuadonko. All right. So, anyways, and then the chief, at the Quinte was saying, and hopefully we can get Nana or Osae Adeyo Ayibiafo or your Otun for Tano comfort. You a conversation hopefully before we bring the curtain down on it. But let's start it off first, Chief. Yeah, Percy discuss it and then the significance of our cultural practices, our cultural rituals, those those things that identify us as who we are or who we claim to be or who we have been all these years now. When it comes to national events, how important is it to portray these things?
Thank you very much. Traditionally, or let me say in the past, we were, governed by the chiefs and so on. And, they set the tone for our culture and, whatever we do. When they meet, and let me say, generally all of us Ghanaians, we believe in, symbolism, and we use them a lot, particularly in communication. And you will find out that when a chief sits or is going to a place, he immediately sets the tone, as it were, defines his mood in the symbols that they show, either, on the linguist staff or in the clothes themselves that they wear. And so these, from the very beginning, communicate to the people, the general framework of the communication that will take place and all that may happen. And so these are very, very, very important. And for accounts, we have used Adinkra symbols a lot. These symbols were, as it were, designed by a chief of German Adinkra. And, when Asantes conquered him, then they appropriated that into, what they have. And so it becomes associated with Asantes a lot, but all accounts use it. And now Ghanaians use it. Even outside of Ghana, Sankofa, for instance, has been used variously in different places. So for symbols, we use them a lot as a people.
Okay, but my question though is how things like not just symbolism as in the Adinkra symbols, but things like pouring libation, for instance, right at the beginning of or during national ceremonies. Growing up, I used to see that. I used to see say national events are as Ghanaians there with our culture and everything. At least we should see some representation of that during national events. And
I agree with you 100%. I think, sir, we used to do that. We stopped doing that, I think, at the times of President Atta Mills, may his soul rest in peace. You know, and it raised then a lot of questions. And still, the questions are still asked, because we do Muslim prayers, we do Christian prayers, yet we don't do ours. Even when it comes to, you know, holidays, we have Christian holidays, we have Muslim holidays, and we don't have.
Why is Akwesi Day? Why is the Akwesi Day not a holiday? Just yesterday also, I heard President Mahama promising a second holiday to our Muslim brothers. I think it's great, right? It's nothing wrong with that. My thing though is, where is the traditional holiday or holidays?
I share that a lot. I had this discussion with somebody, you know, and he was trying to say that when it comes to, you know, the traditional setting, we have, you know, different kinds of things, you know, depending on where you are and so on. And so, for instance, if you mention Kwasi Day, a Kwasi Day is like a Asante thing, not necessarily an everything. And so they see that as where the challenge lies. But I think
Chief,
it's only an excuse.
Yes, exactly. Please go ahead.
Yes, I think it's only an excuse, because if we want to do it, then we can actually sit and have a decision as to, you know, what holidays to take and so on.
Basically, because they're different denominations, but they all still have one Christmas holiday, right? We don't have different holidays for the Adventists and different Christmas holiday for Catholics and same for Methodists or whatever. We don't have that. We have just one day, and they all sign on to that. So what if you have at least one day that's symbolic of?
I agree. I agree entirely. This conversation must be had. We should have this conversation and you know, agree on something and do it. It doesn't speak well of us. It doesn't speak well of us at all, because look, you know, the land, whatever we do, we are you know, grounded on the land, if I could say so. And lands belong to all chiefs, you know, hold the lands in trust for the people. And so even when the government needs land, they have to go to the chief. And the chief cannot give away land without pouring libation and doing all those kind of things. And so you realize that there are, you know, serious aspects of our life that we have ignored because of, you know, what we have learned from outside. I think it's high time we had this conversation and come to a conclusion as to how we incorporate, you know, things that are indigenously ours, you know, for them to be part of the, you know, national life.
And that's exactly what we're doing. And that's exactly what we're doing, having that discussion, because this is a discussion that has to be had. For instance, Kwasi, when politicians are going round to the chiefs to seek their blessings and to, you know, seek their endorsements and their votes and stuff like that, libation is poured for them, and they don't see nothing wrong with that. How come when they get to the point where they are representing the entire nation, where everybody's interest has to be represented or acknowledged, and especially if you ask me, the very first one that should be even acknowledged should be the culture ours before any other one. Right? Because Ghana is a secular state. Ghana is not a Christian state. Ghana is not a Muslim state. Albeit having a what call it, majority Christians, whatnot, it's still not a Christian state, right? But our traditions and our culture, it's not something that is alien to us. It's part of our DNA. It's part of our fabric. But anyhow, Chief, what do you think is causing this really? What you have mentioned where it started from President President Atta Mills. What went wrong? What do you attribute to this?
You see, you know, in the past, we were colonized, and perhaps even before that. But from there on, a whole lot of things have been introduced to us. And we seem to have, you know, bought those, and we have neglected ours. I will say something that, Mr. Kojo Yanka said some time ago, and he said he quoted Ngugi wa Thiong'o. Ngugi said something to the effect that if you, as it were, you have a language, your indigenous language, and you learn another, it's empowerment because it adds to yours.
That's right.
But if you leave yours and, you know, learn another person's language, that is enslavement.
That's enslavement.
And so that is why we have this mentality, the enslavement mentality. There is nothing wrong for us to learn other things of other people. But of course, the basis of our life should be ours. So that if there were to be any sieve through which we receive other things, it should be ours. But unfortunately, we have abandoned ours totally. And, you know, we run head over heels to do things that have no meanings to us. And you mentioned something about politicians and when they go to the chiefs and so on. It speaks to the hypocrisy.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
All right, we seem to have lost connection with Kwasi. We'll reconnect with him and also try to connect with Nana Osae Kwapong, and we'll be right back to continue the discussion. Please don't go anywhere.
So this question I send,
where the money there, 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 where the money there,
and me say where the money there.
I don't know.
Whoa, oh, at the fire bonding. Hot a fire burn them. Red lava done them. Diarrhea run them. The wrath of God upon them.
Lie on your teeth or yourselves on fire. You're killing people every day. Anytime you open your mouth, up here lie, you're leading my people astray.
Government by family and friend. Corruption never end. And you tell us said you are God sent, but when we turn around the bend, you thief it with a pen. Coffee with family, I struggle for fed, and when you.
All right, apologies for the hiccup again. Sometimes, man. Anyhow, we're back with Kwasi Anin, and hopefully we can get Nana Osae Kwapong, who is Otun for Tano Comfort, I should say, not Tano Comfort, to join the discussion as well. But for now, let us continue the discussion with Kwasi Anin. Kwasi, before we left, you were saying something. Do you want to run that up before we move the discussion forward?
Yes, I was referring to the hypocrisy of the average Ghanaians. You mentioned the fact that, when politicians are seeking power, they go to the chiefs, libation, sport, and all that. And yet, when they are in power, they don't seem, as it were, to give any recognition, to such practices and beliefs. It's hypocrisy. Generally Ghanaian, because you just imagine that somebody seeking the high office to say that I'm not a Christian, I'm not a Muslim, I'm a traditionalist. I bet you he may have zero. Nobody may vote for him. And you see, that is it. Because you meet people, they will not speak to what people have. They just want to see if you are a Christian or what. And based on that, they may trust you or what have you. And you remember how, the last election, it came up, Muslim, Christian, and all that all that. But like you are saying, originally, we are not Christians. Originally, we are not Muslim. But, well, it's anything, it's the right of anybody to do whatever he wants. But as a people who live on these lands that, our forefathers fought and claimed for us, practicing all those kinds of things. At this time. I think we should be looking at them, and I think it's the reason why we are a confused mind. We don't seem to know what we want. We don't seem to know where we are going, and we are confused. And we just keep on adding things. Let me say the last thing regarding to this. Our Constitution, for instance. We don't sit down, as it were, to think, look at our past and aspirations and come out with the documents that speak to what we want. We will just say that, okay, there is the British kind of thing, there's the American type of it, we pick and paste, we say we have a hybrid constitution, and all kind of confusion. So we are in problem, and I think you are doing a good job raising these issues, because at a very national level, we should be having this conversation. This conversation, it should be, taking the stage when politicians are, seeking power and so on and so forth. So I think it's good we are discussing, such things.
Awesome. And we had pressed for time because of all the challenges that we've had to deal with. But before we go, Chief, I want us to also look at this. So now, President Mahama has come with this grand idea of a reset, right? Getting Ghana to a certain level and all of that. When we look at countries that have made strides, that have revolutionized themselves, most of them, you can identify that they base it on their innate cultural practices. I can mention Japan after Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I can mention China and the new revolution, industrial revolution there and all of that. I can mention some countries in Europe that have gone through all of that. They kind of identify who they are first of all and then move from there. Do you see that President John Dramani Mahama can succeed in his great agenda without identifying the need to reconnect with the fabric of the people, which is our culture?
Yeah, and to add, to what you said, if you look at most of the poor countries in the world, those that have abandoned their, their lingo-cultural underpinnings. They have abandoned their culture, and you will not be wrong to say that it's a contributing factor, to the fact that we are poor. And so you are totally right. And you're also right in the sense of suggesting that, we need to, as it were, reconnect with our roots to be able to see our way clear. And I guess the president recognizes that. And I think that is why some of these symbols were used, in his apparel. And I think he means to communicate that. But that is as far as it goes. So we'll see what happens. Because if I know we are going there, so if I will, take it up immediately, if you take the symbol like Sankofa, it is actually speaking to that which you have said, that we need to do a lot of introspection and we need to go back to our time-tested, wisdom in order to be able to, see our way clear. And so I get a sense that he has understood some of these things. And, the Sankofa itself speaks to his person. If you remember in 2016, President Mahama, if I may use the word, was rejected by Ghanaians with a margin that was then, so humiliating. And so he was rejected. And then come 2024, we have given him huge endorsement. So it's like, the stone that the builder, refused becoming, the cornerstone. And this is also Sankofa for you. And so I seem to get, it's that the president have this sense, because, the president is not an account person. So one will ask, why would he even, go into account symbolism and so on and so forth. And I think it's a very good thing. President seems to be saying that, these symbols are not for only accounts. They are Ghanaian symbols.
Of course.
Yes, they are Ghanaian symbols, and it's using them as a Ghanaian, and proudly so. And so I am all for it. And I think I believe, we'll be seeing some of these things in his, 4 years, because he has only 4 years, to deliver. He sees himself as a man of destiny, because we know what has happened in the last 8 years, if I may so. A whole lot of things have happened. And I believe that is why the term was coined. That race-setting, term was coined, and that is what is driving, the agenda of the NDC. And for that, Sankofa represents it very well.
All right, Chief. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, we would have to bring it to a close here. But what we're going to do is we'll invite you to take a deeper look, right? This is not a one-day discussion. As you stated, this is a discussion that we have to constantly have. And also, we were not able to get Nana Ayabiafo on the line. Yeah. So we will do a reset of this conversation and make sure that also we can get you
reset.
A reset, exactly. We'll reset the conversation.
We'll do a Sankofa.
We'll do a Johnny May. We'll do all of those things.
Yeah, all those things.
And you know our symbol here at iCulture TV and Pyramid Concept is the Akobeng. So we'll do the Akobeng as well.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, that's our symbol.
Okay. I don't think I've taken notice of that. I will look at it.
Look at our logo closely. You find the Akobeng, the Imperial Media Concepts logo. The Akobeng is there.
But let me ask you, do you remember Shewonshi? It's another symbol.
Yes.
Shewonshi.
Yes.
Yes, it's another Dinkra symbol.
Chief, you're being invited to discuss it. All these things in detail. Why? If possible, even serialize it, because honestly, looking at what's going on right now, it looks like some of us have to help the government to, realize these things. One thing, for instance, I don't understand is when I think it was the NDC government which did that before, tying the chieftaincy ministry with, what was it? Tourism or something like that. What has chieftaincy got to do with tourism? It's two completely different things. But they debase it to such a way that they find like the smallest ministry and tourism crowd, the chieftaincy. No, we have to give our chieftaincy institution much higher respect than we're doing. If we do, we'll all be the better.
You know where that mindset is coming from, Kwasi?
Tell me.
We tend to see our culture as drumming and dancing.
Basically,
and those kind of
something to showcase for tourists to come and watch. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Made our CP.
Yeah.
We will do a reset like you said. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, my brother.
All right.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Bye. We're going to cross over to Studio 2 and have my co-host Synergy join me right now. As we also bring on our reporters from across Ghana. The technical difficulties have made us fall behind schedule a little bit. So we're going to fast track this a little bit. We'll be reaching Gayhart from Upper Ghana very soon. Gayhart, please come in the green room. We'll also be reaching Justice Mafo with the report for Mid-Ghana. Looks like we are not lucky today with Southern Ghana. The Southern Ghana report will not be coming to us today, but we'll be reaching you with the Upper Ghana and the Mid-Ghana reports. All right. Bismarck, Synergy.
Ras.
Okay, so while we wait for while we wait for the reporters to come and give us the report, let's pick up from where we left off with what you were saying, what were you saying though? Now Pacha said because President Mahama is Christian, he has the prerogative to decide that he wants only Christian prayers at his investiture. Is that what you were suggesting?
Oh, that is not what I was trying to. That was not what I meant. By
please, before you go, in the meantime, please let me say, the correspondents, we need you in the green room. Okay, we're waiting for you to give us the report quickly so we can wrap up the show. Please come in the green room. Thank you. Please go on.
All right. What I meant was, religion nowadays have really paved the way for a lot of people to belong to several society or whatever of which they deem a faith. So as a result of that, constitution measures or certain mandated rules have not been implemented in a way that it is specifically stated that if we have a national event, or if there is a national event going on, it becomes compulsory for some people, or it becomes mandatory for us to do this or that based on our cultural belief. Because as we all know, before Christianity, we had our cultural values, we have our traditional way of doing things. But gradually, we are fading all these things off due to religion. We tend to believe that no, if the person belongs to this particular religion, we don't enforce certain things in the way that person believes in. I don't know if the point I'm trying to make sounds well to you.
I don't understand you at all, to be honest with you. Because no, I'm just saying, because as a people, no, why do you even need anybody to prompt you? First of all, you are very comfortable wearing the hijab, all right, which is somebody's culture. Remember, those clothes and those outfits and those we say, they are not the religion. Okay, the religion comes from that part of the world, and we have adopted what comes with it, the style of dressing and all of that. You know, they dress like that in those parts for a certain reason. They live on the desert, so they dress a certain way. But we are very comfortable adopting that and dressing like that, even though we don't live on the desert. However, when it comes to Yankasaya Dena,
that is where the problem comes.
Anyhow, I think we have Gehat now. Let's go get the Upper Ghana report real quick, and then we'll be back to pick up the conversation. Okay, Bismarck. All right, Gehat.
Yeah, Russ.
Okay, how are you?
By His grace, how are you too?
I am awesome. All right. What do you have for us today?
Well, let me say a very good evening to our cherished viewers in and around the globe. We say thank you very much for staying tuned on iCalls TV. Yes, indeed. The Upper East region is very, very calm and very, very glad to everything, the series and sequence and issues that are happening in Ghana, because the Upper East region has been seen to having its first share of the national cake with regards to the ministerial nominee, the President of the Republic of Ghana, that's His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, outlined and then disclosed to the whole of the country. He named Dr. Dominic Akunitenga, who is an astute lawyer and has been an academician for the past 3 decades in terms of that area. So the good people of the Upper East region are really glad to the President of the Republic of Ghana for, at least in his first batch of ministerial nominees, the Upper East region is really seen in there. And that is just one of the many the Upper East region are expectant of him.
I see. So how are people reacting to that? How are people reacting to the nomination of Dr. Aine as the Attorney General?
Yes, all and sundry, everybody is really glad, because they see that that is a masterpiece from the region, because he really fits into that area that the president is designating him to, because he served as a deputy in the elsewhere John Mahama's administration, and he maintaining him as a substantive now shows that he really has garnered some experience, and indeed is superb. The Upper East is really making waves everywhere, and Boga East, where he really comes from or he hails from, is glad, and everywhere is really fantastic.
I see. All right. So apart from that, what else is going on?
Well, they are still hopeful and expectant, like Oliver Tracy. They're still seeking for more in terms of the ministerial nomination, because they gave him absolutely 15/15, and the whole Upper East, the old folks, or let me say the frontliners in the House or the Chamber of Parliament, are really astute, good candidates. Any position they are going for, or the president deems it fit and gives them, they are really going to execute. Because Galga is one, Mahama Yarga is also another. Well, the people of the Boga Central constituency.
Hello? Hello? Okay, all right. Bismarck. Okay, Bismarck. I'm sorry. Gerhard went off. He's having a challenge with
Yeah.
And yeah, let's go on until he comes.
The network over here is a little bit disturbing. Our
Okay.
network over here is a little bit disturbing. It's not
I
as
see.
stable as what you have there.
I see. Okay. I think Gerhard is back. I think Gerhard is back. Let's finish with Gerhard real quick. Okay.
Yeah. So Russ. So
okay.
as I was saying, the people of the Boga Central constituency, where Honorable Isaac Adongo hails from, he is the ranking member for finance in the previous AIF administration or the AIF parliament. The good people of the Upper East region, especially the Boga Central constituency, are hopeful that the president will find Isaac Adongo and give him a deputy ministerial position to supporting Dr. Kisela Chofos, and that is their expectation. But they have a numerous list of promises that they are hoping to see that it utilize in the Upper East region. One is the Bogatanga Airport that at least John Dramani Mahama during his first administration did a 70% of that feasibility studies, and then the siting of the airport, which is Sumbrungu. And then he also promised giving us a standard sports stadium where sporting activities and the youth can engage in certain recreational activities that you can see in the new list of ministerial positions he has outlined. You see Ministry of Sports, and then we see recreation. Yes, so John Mama, we hoping to see the visionary and the vision he has, but the good people of the Upper East region are also hopeful that he deemed it right, and that's what he promised us. Revamping of the meat factory is one they are also expectant of. Revamping of the Balgu tomato factory is also another thing they are also looking up to. Then the Boga Airport, then upgrading the status of Bogatanga municipality into a metropolitan assembly. Then we are hopeful that we see another region established due to the conflict we have in the Boko Enclave, as it was said, and he also gave a rebut that it has to go through a referendum, it has to be assessed, and certain things. So the good people of the Upper East region are really expectant of President John Dramani Mahama, and they poured much for him, so much is expected of him.
Great. Thank you very much, Gerhard. Let's bring on our mid-Ghana correspondent, Justice Mafo. Justice Akwaba.
Yeah.
Me pacha ti saying.
Nyankopɔn busu a yɛhyira me. Matamfo
Nice.
na ɛbrɛ.
No, okay, good. Now, I didn't echo so.
Before say yɛbɛkɔ Mahama deɛ no so koraa no, ne ntia a GH News na yɛnya kyerɛ sɛ wode w'ani kyerɛ adwira constituency a ɛyɛ NDC foɔ na yɛsei no ɔmo wɔ soɔ. Na yɛnya ne nte sɛ ɛmɛbunu no bi akɔtwa gya to police station ɛwɔ hɔ mu. Ama police foɔ cars sisi hɔ nom ne motorbikes nyinaa no ɔmo twa gya to mahye no. Ɛno nti no GH News na yɛnso yɛde ani bɛdi akyire. Medical soma guy bi so ɔnkɔhwɛ ma me. Akyire no me ankasa nso mɛkɔ hɔ na makɔhwɛ de esi ankasa. Na ne nya kyerɛ sɛ ɛyɛ ɔmakye babunu bi a ɔmo susu sɛ wakɔtɔ phone a ɛyɛ korɔ no deɛ mobile phone a ɛyɛ korɔ no deɛ. Na polisifoɔ kyee no na wɔ sɛ ɔmo yɛ mu hwehwɛmu hu ne sɛ ɛyɛ ade a watɔ anaasɛ wantɔ. Na ɔmo gu so ɔmo yɛ hwehwɛmu no nam sɛ ɔmo de ɔmo nsa akeka ne kakra ma nam saa yɛ so ama aberanteɛ no afiri mu. Ɔwu da police cells hɔ. Ɛna polisifoɔ no nso so gyina ɔmo tumi so de boy na akɔto hospital morgue ɛwɔ hɔ nom. Ɛna abusuafoɔ no bi ahu sɛ ọmụ mama ne na ọmụ de ọmụ busuani no akọ mo kyerɛ hɔ no mo nti ọmụ nso so de abufuhye wɔ akɔhye police station wɔ hɔ no mama ɛyɛ ọmụ da hɔ no mo nyinaa whether or not say ɛdɔ ọmụ bɛkɔ court yɛyiyi wɔn nyinaa sɛ obi ankɔ fie ɛna ọmụ atwa gya to police station
Osae
nti no
Kwapong.
ɛnkyɛ bia adwira constituency ɛnkyɛ bia yɛde pictures ne bɛba ama obiara hwɛ bi sɛnea
Okay.
cars ne si ahyehyɛ no ɛnya agorɔ
Enti viewers, any listeners, call your Facebook. Any fan will be posting no direct baby. I'm for being sa information no. Social media platforms, right?
you be posting
Facebook.
on TikTok, any Facebook, yeah.
Okay.
Facebook, TikTok, ni na.
Yo.
Ebe twa go hɔ nom nti wɔn nkɔ hɔ nom nkɔ hwɛ, yeah.
To asoma me. And DM na ekoso.
Nti no na ne nti a yɛnya firi adwira. Na baako bi nso so a abeto dwa afidase. Ɛno nso so asante mantam ha yɛ afidase. Adwadifo a wɔ hɔ nom se ɔmo gyigyi sika de ma former MCE a wɔwɔ hɔ nom. Former MCE a edin a wɔde frɛ no I think say honorable was said yeah. Yes, ɔmo gyigyi sika de ma ne sɛ wɔn si dwa ma ɔmo. Ɔmo si dwa na wie. Abanse san ba ya to Obama John Dramani Mahama His Excellency. They say one Obama I say MMDC is ahodoɔ yɛyi wɔn nyinaa afiri hɔ nom a yɛde foforɔ ba. Na edwa no yɛse yɛde nkurɔfoɔ foforɔ na abɛtena dwa no mu. Ɔmo sika akɔka kam. Contractor a wosi dwa no nso so edwadifo akɔ hɔ nom sɛ ɔmo kɔ akɔgye ɔmo sika. Contractor ne se ɛne ɔmo nkɔ MCE ne hɔ. Ɔno na ɔmo tua sika no ma no. Nti wei ne nsɛm bi a etwa gu asante mantam ha nom a TH News na yɛde ani bɛdi akyire. Ɔmo se Mahama mmara no ɔmɛtwitwa nye wɔn na nipa a ɔmo bɛyi no sɛ municipal chief executive ɛma afidyaase no ɔmmra na saa former MCE no ɛde yi a no ɔmo nyɛ no ɔmo ma mmara no ntumi ni no sɛ oral team no bɛhwɛ hɔ na ɔmo akɔkye no a ɛno nti no deɛ etwa gu nso so wɔ ɛhɔ nom ɛno no.
I see.
Well,
okay. Nipa na we film story back when yema no yako on the bush phone and I hope say us can't reset ourselves no and yet political reset in Kwan there was say the whole country no has a reset because for instance say suspect police station I wouldn't say kind of saying I mean the person has been arrested, right? You put them through a process. You don't found Sanko Kekano. I don't know. But anyhow, Yamane Bush na phone yako. And justice me pacho di chema why? Nafe if there are any updates, we will. And also I'm sure say you put some stories on the website www.ghnewsnow.com. And you know, thank you very much for the report. And I be honum.
Bibia ni hobium. Diaka John Dramani Mahama His Excellency. The inauguration and swearing in. And when I say no, baby abefabia and a cost na. O cobra be jobs so I yes 3 years pa. I say a micro minority leader. Alexander Afenyo Marking. We just say Adena John Dramani Mahama also we ministerial appointment. We the thought. Now we also the Ankefa Hoben. Also bubu no thought. Ministerial appointment. What the card Attorney General and Minister responsible for justice designate. What the number said Dominic Ayene. Finance Minister designate. Keselato forcing. I didn't know from mum. Said 60 ministers now also do mobile, but I don't know come now from Papa Neja. Na Ama Kufibua, deputy minority leader. Majority leader, sorry. Deputy majority leader say defeat na omu defeat defeat na amanta sentasi abana ni so nti no mo man mreka kra bi majority caucus no omo man mreka kra bi na wa recover na me say no high fever bi na che papa no na yanko inauguration no so me na manfo edi nkomo na me say Google Drive no me forward ya ade no scroll but videos no ma nti no ye be try na ya post egu ye TikTok pages no ho na And some amount for Kanyina and say John Dramani Mahama, or more expected say 4-year mandate na omo de amano no. Obehwe na se KJT market na we see in phase 2 no omo sere no. Ohwe na onwie. Esan say ono or the less than 3 years. Any see KJT market phase 1. Akufo-Addo better so no for the 8 years when me am fan complete phase 2 no obeye na wasi na my ba kwa me ne kasa ya wono nso se osere say ni mu ya omukọ parliament na oral team no sa operation recover all loot no omubenya prosecutorial power na emramu no aye constitution na omotimi acheche akromfo a omo ho nyina no no de asisili ada para na nka wose kayade ankomo che ne ma no a nke beye ne de wose wo monche maame no maame a bola ho adwuma na aye na utimi nya sikapudu etese na wotena so afre wose kenoforiata kuntunkurunkun former minister for finance wose kenoforiata nso so John Dramani Mahama ni oral team no omo hwe na okugyeto omo mmoabo na omo mpe papa na kira kwan na omo mfa no enkoto abanku
I see.
no me no man kwadi nkomo pii na na no omo kan se sankofa omo hu se na design bi da John Dramani Mahama atade nanimu se sankofa na omo sere ne se hwe na John Dramani Mahama enu omo hwamo isan se 4 years na omo de amano no akwaye bibi te se ewo se oprove omo wrong oprove ni haters wrong omo criticize ne se 4 years na Mahama ba o me yehwe no ewo se sankrofo no nyina otumi prove omo wrong na omo mumu na omo ta na chi se bra na beje ye no otumi prove omo right se ne be ya bibia be kon kan na omo ni mu angu ase enu nti no na wo fra bisa ya Justice Mafo GH News now mama ne boni enu nti no nsemo etwagu asante mantamu ha no bi na mabɔ ne tofa ede ama won.
Yeah, that's the power of justice. Thank you very much.
Mr. Soldier, policeman and civil society.
Okay, now we cut straight to Synergy for the entertainment and showbiz update, after which we'll wrap up the show. Synergy, over to you for the showbiz update. Are you ready?
Radio, culture.
And you always see Ras, what you mean?
Meton Cafe Synergy, Kosumame.
Mu life and color the pa. Now before I say I get it down to the entertainment update, a little bit of story now. Justice a car you also made a comment about that, but I think we shouldn't encourage in Ghana, no matter the political affiliation. You say NPP and I say NDC, we are all one people. Party in 2 minutes but certain things we need to put a stop to that. This is not the first time. First of all, say BBC, the first person is just Obia or yes suspect. So say court, every proves any parkour says act on a year, we have no right. Nobody has the right to sort in Sabaki Kano. And on Ama Edra incidents, Aqua resulting in says youth Nantiasia or Marco Seti, the police station ablaze, and you're fine. And yet to the point say nipa no mususu wakoko via phone na ko ekura no akrono de. Why should it be that person to death? Mokuno munso ma mabushe na mane
phone so yakuni power phone phone
so
like
how
seriously.
No,
we are showing idea because of phone.
Wow,
anyhow,
this is very bad. Yeah. Now you to the entertainment aspect and on what is going on. Now the first story Nagasa me know Ebeshene is about one pressing issue you made mention of it concerning Rexoma. The chairperson for Gambro. He has been in the game from let's say from 1999 down the lane to 2025, and he's still doing music. And he has been in the game for 2 decades and still counting. Rexoma is not a normal person, or yet the normal person as we know in the industry as upcoming. That be Oye Kuku Dampa. Then you beat said on it's a kind of a new baby. Then again, Otisi Mua Beka Gambro. That is Ghana Music Rights Organization. The writer Emma Obia was intellectual property ye classifying under music will be to many BBA from where your friend royalties, you know. And no, say opu bi wa bo machi pempa na ye rexoma. Waki can't be chiro mo to tone some the money wo mo de ti ya ne say from 2016 2017 yeah the month no at the Amarexoma. I'll be the chairperson for Gamro. Since then, and Sembia APA ba and Sembia ABPA Bontin Bia is about Rexoma and Gamro. I did be a bet about music bia no if it's not about beefing, that is artista na ye Rexoma and Gambro. Why? A royal artist in one sense. Someone will be in the industry or better nyom I recorded nyom at the about bontain people would be jamming to the song. It will take a number of years. Nani Pakrono to get something out of Nyuma, why you know as royalties are. I 100 cities and 150 Ghana cities. Ebinumukwa go to the length of receiving less than 100 cities as royalties from a Juma Waje, and that is very painful. But I don't know if some videos are ready. I would love us to watch this particular video. That is the first one from Big Quiz. I just say out of a bufuomupa Oniagro say adinti enna see pobi. I'm an spearhead the creative art industry. No, I'm about be a leader of the creative art industry. John Dramani Mahama shouldn't even look at the direction of
act. Mesremo, we don't need Rexoma. So Baba Bedani ye penini bia yempe Rexoma. Inti yesre ye papa ya di nyina ye president John Dramani Mahama say opese Rexoma ope eye post bi di mano yesre no. Creative act ye hia no ewu mu nti robetima pe be fofo ade amano but Resoma de creative act ye hia Resoma nti on the 17th January ye press conference at the agency eye Resoma ye hia no say eye creative act no obebem be de mu nyina mase.
Wow.
Na enkoma we di no ya dem play no say obi free
Synergy to also.
Yeah, Ras. That is the voice of some people in the creative art industry. Nanga music side there. Shatawale ni Stone Boy Mona wasanka to fire shots with the man. But it looks as if Resoma, as we all know, has been fighting for the NDC, precisely John Dramani Mahama. And now money probably see will be was make more. Emma Mahama by but truth be told, Resoma there, no two ways about that. He has been fighting for the NDC and John Dramani Mahama. And from someone so or the creative art industry, obviously, the obvious says watch chair ministerial appointment now, positions now. Obey me look at the direction of one. And when I
don't agree, but if I get a chance, I'll react to that. But I don't agree at all.
Okay,
now much as a mobile reach bigger quiz.
Bigger question tries to reach out to him, but I think if we run a question concerning see confident, no. Ama my busy kakra to be no and you're ready so because about with time, no, you will still get back to them and I because the issue is still fresh. So I same way until see about point 2 will be there, it is still there. Even after appointment, it will still be there for us to talk about because it is our industry and it's our game. We have to play the way we like it. Now, another matter, so they reacted to their big quiz. So if that video is ready, they also then so in relation to that and so.
Okay.
Tiana say eku bi mu no pie no okasa was yen ona ye PR ana ana say omu a omudi ma nkoye campaign ma NDC no ono wo kasa ma wo mu ana
ma fa ne say won kasa ma
ani tira me bu say yon say yana anytime bia say obi ba o kire wo wadwen me de me susu mu ne say ma fa Resoma ma
ba ba kasi ye
na so de ma ba se o si kan ye no ese industry ni nyina na wo kasama yen
se bia ono mo di nkomo nso ka se
wone wa memete to ni di nkomo
bia majority of them also be
ye group wa ya no kan say WhatsApp group na se fo a ye woku ebie no wa betom enti eso kirem
ni na so na wo
yania menya ketwa wo industry ni mo
da bi o menkas ni na
nchira wo na menchira me ho
me se ni nyina so na wo
ene na mekai so enti bia yania yakoye campaign ema ewra John Dramani Mahama no yene yatena se hu se papa yi oba wo mo industry no so na koye yen ya na mmoa sakasa no yenhwe niye de toso mienu me ya na ya adwene kire se papa yi se ye ko choose no se onno ena ma me bia minister anaso wo me deputy na sefo a emmoa yen aden say ukọ kan se music we ni mu a enkokrafo nyina ne na eko emrantie nyina ne na eko aden yeni ya no beka che se ni se music asem odi omuhuru so ampa so wa ne kokko konkrofo bi wa empanifo bi atoto nwom a ne se bi omu ne adwuma ya sika sem nyina ya basa enka ye yu panyina
wona ne edawma no
nyese wona ne edawma no so ye yu panyina wo de ne se kokkrafo bi wo be fight ya ma wo nwama asa nwumto no atimi akọ nanim ba we ne be mana no so asei bebe kura be mabu se ekuo no modon enti homework no ese wo ye na wonya nye homework we na sa wo kopekese no a da bia no okura no adwen pokre wo timi apesa wo de ye no ekrofo bi support o ma ne nye yie die tia ya ne yi panyina empanifo bebre entimi nya adwuma no enipa na ye yi no ebia nim die na nkasa wo ho but se enipa society no se de oni nipa besia nante na sefo no eni ho ntibasa ekrofo ne mo amane nkoso na zia yi minister bi MPP yi minister bi creative art oba no be frɛ se yemra ne be ma na dwen isanse wo no be bi owo ene be bi na beto no different but yemeboa no wodi akenkan be support no yenso yaka de yenso betima no na bibia akoso so enipa bi say no ese o support na eyeye but we no tokwa wo no hododo so se sana e biga kwesi wo kanu de a metima fo wo so bi nso a na aban no ahunu se bibi se wonumu na wayi obi dia support no amana akoso enti mesere eni die kwa so se oyi panyini dia ma industry na omra industry no mebusam yie na yehunu nipa ebetimi ne san
okay
na nkonko yese yekofa bibia ba behye yekon
okay do bichem do make out there no last 3 years oh my god
before I see about Akosia Japan a video no so no this is the other side industry folks you know esu ehuno efa and adintia because also the hun is issues surrounding or Rexoma no any the industry were brought by the chairperson for Cameroon too much and the core person the key person since the time or the chairperson no one in a fight back and forth with issues na yes someone who courts no this woman Kwasi Anin yenko chedo no so kafa
tabi bakasa waya ena nasi me count there no me
sembi
ye hand
samekaya
3 years ago man sign 20 Ghana me 320 Ghana na me wo nasi ona nasi sika ba wona wo dey say ena so me put am in this something could dey had the cross okoshe no 292 Ghana and pesos nasi me bo aba na beka nasi ndo eya pependo nyan no na mo tete wana mudi ngufo sika musicians mo ye dia chi mo man so le waka me me chatro mo ka na meka no
ase dabio na wo mponi
mponi no soro che wafa ye ni abrebi
dabio na wo kura na ya ma o sa asike yi
omo ma wo ko no she
100 cities a man
she broni yenyo ba ko betime din lifetime Yede obey nyum akotna studio aye nyum na kofo be mu ncho nyum that is a flash money ya husband num no mu sida ka kese mu na omu ko jiska no a then you pocket am you go clap for me see musicians mu so de waka tagwa dey for mumra kepos for mumra hey mumra nie nante nie match ye free attorney officer nie ko flash star house
I don't hear demonstration
na ye musician na say edu election time who go jina say to perform here
who be demonstration
ofa the bon jan Rexoma enema nkoye na anye ne de no obo jan kokko eko gina ho koe se aban enko no mayi enti ono gina ho no wo ye no mayi ma musicians ye be ka ka me se e fe ne se me twatro Resoma Abraham Ajete ya husband Flash captain of captains unim me say spinner be a trace ke bia on my head some babaji on some babaji 700 Ghana from spinners
ba me mbisa se me we mu
now we spinner now who cross 700 Ghana only chia the meba only chia spinner snake only chia ya husband ma it's the way 700 Ghana now what twa abontin say
Interesting. Synergy. Hello, Synergy.
Okay, Ras. Yes, I. Now that is issues surrounding Akosia Japoma and Rexoma and
Akosia Japan. Akosia Japan.
Yeah, Akosia Japan and Gambro Honsen Semani Rexoma back and forth and yen and started yet. Na eno and I'm a nipa bebre say he doesn't qualify to be appointed as the minister of lady the creative arts industry. No, but we still have some 2 videos a free Rexoma and Ankasa Ewo explaining things how the operations of Gambo are done. Send a bit obia so it looks as if say you're mistaking Nema to be the other way around. The we are purchasing Gambo basi are operating as entesa and go in that direction. But before I say about that 2 videos, you made mention that you have something to say about Resoma. I don't know what.
I would say a baby video scene then I can react.
Okay, then let's go to Young Konkoti Rexoma explaining the operations of our Gambro Omoyama Efa.
Video, no, I'm not sure. Richard, what
Shake your body, move your belly. 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 Shake it.
You see, the highest decision-making body of Gambo is the General Assembly. The law that establishes Gambo says that whatever money you collect, don't spend more than 30% for your administration.
Yeah.
And then distribute 70% to the membership.
Yeah.
But we knew that there are welfare issues in relation to artists. Because we are in this country that a lot of big names will grow up and then they become like a public ridicule and they start begging and all those things. So we had a meeting and we said, look, let us put in our constitution so that any money we get, we take 10% aside and use it as welfare. This was agreed by the general membership, so it became part of our constitution. And let me tell you how this 10% is administered. When I became the chairman of Gambo, I invited, me and my board, we invited 4 different insurance companies to bring their proposals. So after we were looking for health insurance, life insurance, and then pensions. After a long deliberation, we landed on metropolitan insurance. So they gave us these 3 proposals. What our 10% could afford at that time was to pay for funerals. When a member dies, when a member's spouse dies, when a member's parents dies, they'll pay you some lump sum. That cuts across everybody, whether you are, it doesn't matter what your name is. Once you are a member of Gambo in good standing, you get it. Then they also gave us a proposal of health insurance. And the health insurance, the 10% that we were getting was not enough to pay for everybody's premium. So we said, okay, we cannot pay for the premium, but then anybody, any member who is interested, because we negotiated with the size of the group, it made our premiums cheaper. Because today, if you want to go and do private health insurance, the minimum you pay is, I think, maybe 1,500 a year or something like that. But because in numbers lies strength, we were able to negotiate to get it as cheap as 400 Ghana cedis per year. And it was a very good deal, but majority of the members are not interested because they will not. You cannot tell any government member that I took your royalty to go, some of your royalty to go and pay your health insurance. They will not agree. So we said, okay, those who will agree to start the health insurance, even if you're as little as 50, let's start. As I'm talking, it has not started. So it is still there that we are trying to encourage people to start. And the third one was Tier 3 pension. So government said we'll pay a token into your pension and then you yourself contribute to your own pension. That one was started. Some people started paying, but as of now, it's not the way I expected it to be.
Okay, I think that's the last video we're going to play.
Send money,
so let's just focus on this one. This is too long.
It's
Stop dropping videos in there.
We
This
have
is the last
two
video we're
different
going
types
to
of
play.
sending money.
Let's round up the show.
All right. Now, everything rightly said by Rexoma, explaining it said, be a benya dentiasi. And according to him, he said, if you are to look at it at the 100% percentage, 70% the royalties are they distributed, they disburse it to the registered members of Gambro.
Yes, I think so. We got that clearly though. But to recircle it back to the issue, are we saying, sir, people? Why are they uncomfortable with him? Have you picked the sense of why people think say he's not fit for, or bigger quiz for that matter? Which is why it would have been great to get a little more from him, right? Because your kind is on penal. I don't know why. I've also heard the other brother talking about how he's managing the copyright. Listen, copyright now easy to manage, crowd. But then again, at someone one can so kind the past, then maybe you'll be forced to say, okay, if you know, say won't mean spell a mentor or something along those lines. But what are you picking up? Why are they saying he's not fit for the position?
The reason being is transparency, accountability. They are not seeing it as expected. Because one, you will just be there. All of a sudden, what you hear is pinning a notification from Gambro. Adding you've sent you royalties of let's say 100 cities or 200 cities. Or human mercy of a big artist we all know received just 300 cities for being in the industry since 2007. Now, for the songs that we're releasing, so only 200 cities are a bit questionable. But as to the amount from spinners, from TV stations, from radio stations, from across board, Sika Munya in total becomes the reason why that person will not be okay with it. Now, Bisakede also lamented on this same thing, saying that he received just 500 Ghana cedis from Gambro after 2 hits, Brother, of which we all know, and you will say a Meki way to pay in Ghana, and Mansa. He received only 500 Ghana cedis. Kwasi Anin, a gospel musician, or non-sono, or ye a Jumapa, also received 150 Ghana cedis. He also said something about that. With all these put together, someone will ask, say, if I'm receiving 150 Ghana cedis, what is the criteria? What is the standard of which you use to distribute or disburse that money?
People need to understand how copyright works.
That is it.
People do not understand how copyright works in Ghana.
And that education should come from
problem.
That education should come from them instead. Because you need to educate the public. You need to educate your people. Stoneboy also received, I think, 20,000 last year. And he was also saying a lot of harsh words to Rezoma as to how, for someone who has been in the industry for so long a time, now Obe will receive just 20,000 Ghana cedis because of one only say we release songs. The impact, baby, playing here and there. Now Obenya this amount now. Still the question will be Sikado saying and a Monsakaye. It's about education. Copyright issues in Ghana, a serious thing I was say you pay attention to. And until I pay Obia, Obetimi lead the creative art industry, to educate the folks, the people, and to set rules, measures, laws. Bema yetimi atrace this copyright things. Bema Obia or use any property, obi intellectual property, copyright law, will hold that person accountable, and something will be collected from that person to the rightful owner. This is all what we are looking for. And this idea, we will go back and forth with issues. As at the time, the same thing, and this same Rexoma was saying, and then I be drawn on also. It's just about you saying that copyright issues, we just need to understand, and it's part of their duty. They need to educate the people. I'm gonna also educate the people, and yes, sir, they will keep on pointing fingers at them. So I'm gonna need this kind of. They are making
I have a reaction to it, obviously.
Okay.
First of all, it's not the place of the chairman of the GAMRO to set laws and make rules and all these things. Okay.
Yeah.
He is functioning within a system. That's why I'm saying that people need to understand how these things work. Now, there is no reliable system for collecting copyright money or copyright, revenue in Ghana. There is none. So I don't even know why this 500 cedis no more General fever to start with. But let's put that on the side. What I'm saying is this. Rexoma, because of what he has said in the past, right? Because he made some of us believe that he had the magic wand to make the copyright thing happen in Ghana. And I believe that a lot of people took to him because of that. That's why now sympathies for him are a little bit here and there, right? But otherwise, it's not his fault. The government has to have a system within which the copyright thing can operate. Okay? Now, that said, we also have to take note of the fact that there is a revolution happening in terms of the media space. We are transitioning, or we have transitioned from CD players, etc., into another format. Back then, and that's a auto banderoles. Anybody who is my age would know what banderoles are. Those nonsense things they used to have. Now, Okaseta, if 50,000 and they work on 50,000 banderoles, then you put them on the thing so that they can use that to track copyright, right? Now, you release a song, you put it on social media, somebody copies it off YouTube, and they are blasting it all over the place. So if you are Stone Boy, you are hearing the music all over the place, like you said, but who is paying for that?
Yeah.
So we need to understand how these things work.
Yeah.
Let's leave that. It's a bigger discussion that I don't want us I want us to stay on the central, story, which is that bigger quiz say, Omon Pet Rexoma as minister.
Yes.
I want to address that. Number one, creative arts na ye can Sabin Prediasan. This is not to disrespect anybody, but whoever feels disrespected, please step forward and let's have a debate. Because creative arts enye actors be diao. Enye kuma would asem na ye can.
Yes.
Ye can creative arts. Creative arts includes people like bloggers, people like content creators, people like stage actors, people like musicians, people like cultural performers.
Yeah.
And a wide gamut. So when we say creative arts, I don't want to see anybody in some small corner thinking that they own the birthright to the creative arts. So therefore, they can come and say, we don't want Rexoma, and then that should be it. No, you are just one small aspect of the whole creative arts thing. And if you're young actors, we're young Kumasi for, and that's a young Kumawood for, and that's a young actors generally, which I doubt is the case. Young pet Rexoma. That is one thing. That said, also, let me also take the opportunity to hint on this discussion that we'll be having going forward. Synergy. It could be a Obekosubiano, right? So you set school up, and again, this is not to disrespect anybody, but the truth must be told. You set school be up, you're setting it up to train people for an industry.
Yes.
Where is the school that is training people for the creative arts industry?
That is another question to the
School
course too.
of Performing Arts, 1. NAFTI, 2.
Yes.
Winneba School of Music, 3. College of Art at you're kind of saying KNUST, 4.
Yeah.
And what's the other one? There are a few, and then there are some auxiliary ones.
Yeah.
Now tell me, say, are the products of these schools the ones running the creative arts industry?
That is what I also don't even say.
No, sir, that is not the case.
No.
Because we have some people who feel like, okay, they can own
They are
that space.
committed to the party.
Now, it's not even about party. Let's leave the party for now. Party not something a different issue. Let's just really look at if we should sit down and say somebody just pops up and says, okay, now, for instance, there's an ally before Parliament, or at least during John Mahama's time, a group of people brought an ally to Parliament. Ally was drafted by people, none of whom had been to the School of Performing Arts or any of these schools that I've mentioned. I'm not saying they don't qualify to present an ally. What I'm saying is this: if you're going to present an ally which is going to have an effect on me, I have to have an input. Now, some previous I remember school, how to do the thing. Also, so raw talent. But who now do raw talent? No, echo presenting ally be affecting me. You're training me for the industry. How does that work?
It should be a collective thing.
It should be more than a collective thing. Let me tell you what happens in the United States. For instance, synergy. Who person drive a taxi, right? Unim car account. Forget about taxi. Who person drive Uber, Uber. But they will send you to a college to go and take a course before they will give you a certificate to get on the road to drive.
Meanwhile, you already know how to drive.
You need certification. I bet you say, oh yes, I call a certified painter. What you say? And to say, well, actors, not say your schools are a training resources one man. Yen case will be by force at School of Performing Arts. But what about say your courses? I be here for actors. I will be crash course. Just like I'm saying, Oka Kuchi Taxia, Oka 2-week course. A hostels college, for instance, in Queens, right? Actor. You go for a 2-week crash course at the School of Performing Arts and get certified as a creative artist. And no, that's a carbon near a presenting front for the creative arts. Not say, be sorry, you can't say tap dancing or YouTube. I'm for a bomb, say man, boosting to 20,000 views. And Robert John say, pay way because I'm the creative artist. No, we cannot work like that. John Mahama, please, sir, I have a special show I'm going to do on this, but I'm going to put this out ahead of the show. No, please take a good look at who you are going to appoint for the creative arts industry. Do not take it, say, a baby anybody can handle. No, it's one of the very, very, very sensitive areas. I was say, it's like the sports ministry, a very sensitive. It's two things. It's either they trust that you're going to succeed or you're just bound to fail, period.
Yes.
Who has succeeded in the creative arts industry that you have seen? Who?
No. Okreku even didn't survive.
Don't mention Okreku. Please don't mention Okreku. Even Abla Jifagomashi, and that's the other thing. Abla Jifagomashi, who is a graduate of the School of Performing Arts, was put in that ministry. How did she perform? Let's all examine that together. What I am saying, and he said, you don't even need anybody who is a creative artist in that area. You need an administrator.
Yes.
You need somebody who has ideas on how to make copyright work. So if Brexoma doesn't have that, then maybe he really is not the person for that spot. At this point, obia wabonyum danti, obia oye actor danti, obia wako School of Performing Arts danti. No, we don't need none of that as the person heading that creative arts industry. Creative arts ministry. We need an astute administrator with ideas on how to make copyright and other revenue generation activities work for artists. That's who we need. Thank you, Synergy.
All right, then, Rasa, everything said in the right direction, and all these are what we are looking for. I don't think we can just stand up and look at a particular industry and just appoint people to assume positions just like that without looking at the technical, the administrative know-how. Because as it stands now, what we need in this creative arts industry is people that can collectively, that can together, collaboratively put together certain things a bit to abua this industry to survive, especially with this copyright issue. It is something that if you're able to monitor it and do it well, money, there are a lot of money in this. And I know a lot of countries are surviving when it comes to this industry, folks, and none of they depend on that. Now, back in the days of tapes and CDs are no more. It's a move from one stage to the other. YouTube is here, TikTok is here, Facebook is also there. How do you digitalize all these things for people to benefit from their works, their arts, no more putting out there? No, how do you put all these together? And that is all what we are asking. Say, John Dramani Mahama, the president, will look at these things for us. Now, industry survive. This industry is not for one or two people; it's for us all, and it's an industry as well as it will benefit everybody in terms of tourism, arts, and culture everywhere. And no another country will be identified by it. Until let's look at that. With this, I think we'll look at the final one, of which there is no video for that, but it's just an information.
Actually, we are way past the time now. I think we should be wrapping up.
It's just an information to people out there. See, confirm the guy now on Akabeneza more yes, you know, and then you know, of course, so and people, a lot of people are there. Or more sharing their condolences to the family. You know, RIP to confirm for being in the industry and only one to the family and everyone. Ras, take it over.
Synergy, thank you very much for the entertainment update. And thank you to the whole team, to Richard, Gayhart, Justice, Jackson, and the rest of the team, the whole extended team. Thank you very much for making today's show happen. We will see you again next week, God willing, same time, with another edition of the weekend live stream. In the meantime, let's bow out with this one. My name is Kwasi Anin Boaten, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Mm-hmm.